Happy Monday, Navs Nation, and welcome into another episode of the Navs Nation podcast. This is episode 4. Alongside me is Gus Balo. I'm Nick Pernick, and this episode is brought to you by our sponsor, RE/MAX 360 Real Estate Office. Whether you're buying or selling a home or just curious about the local market, RE/MAX agents are there for you, and they'll make your experience memorable and enjoyable. So if you're looking for a house, use all their state-of-the-art technology, all their experience, all their market stats, and call them at 781-593-7611. That's RE/MAX 360. That's located on 85 Exchange Street, Suite 302 in Lynn. Gus, let's get right into the games. We're right back into the action. We started off at Frazier Field with a walk-off win the other night, and then last night taking the tie up in North Adams. So what were your first impressions on the first two games?
Yeah, well, last night we were recording this on Sunday morning, so a little bit tired as a long bus ride back to Frazier Field last night after the 4-4 tie. But overall, for the first two games, again, we haven't seen everyone yet, so you got to see probably a couple more times before you can make some conclusions on anything. But I thought the team played pretty well. I thought, obviously they've had leads actually in both games. In both games, they've scored in the first inning. A total of 5 runs scored in the first inning for the first two games. So that's obviously good to see. The Navs were up 4-1, but North Adams did come back and tie the game in the bottom of the 8th, scoring that one run. Aiden Wild actually had a nice 2 RBI single for North Adams as well. So overall, it was, good baseball for sure, but still a long way to go in this season. The Navs are still looking to play everyone once before they get to play everyone again. So should be interesting and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, I had a great time at Frazier Field up in the press box for game one. Great atmosphere. A lot of fans came down, and that was really fun to see, and just a great thing to be a part of. The music was playing, the popcorn was being sold, and it was just normal to have baseball back again, and it felt really good. And, looking back at those first two games, I was able to follow along with game 2 thanks to the NECBL network. Gus, great job on the call as always. But following along in both games, as you said, hot start to the bats, hot start offensively, and then the bats went a little cold in both games. And then looking for some late inning heroics. We couldn't get the job done last night, but, overall, just 2 great games of baseball, 2 close games. And if you like close baseball and no slugfest, then those first two games were for you.
Yeah, for sure. And both games obviously were almost a walk-off. You were saying the broadcast, it would have been pretty much deja vu, but in reverse, as North Adams had, some great chances to win last night. They actually had a man on third, but with 1 out, but could not get him in as they tried to squeeze. But Justin Butera came in and pitched 2 innings in the 9th and 10th to shut the door and keep this game a tie. So, overall, I'm sure North Shore would have liked to get out of there with the win, but they'll take the tie for sure.
Yeah, and now we're looking forward to 4 games this week during the week, 6 games this week in total. A lot of baseball to be played this week, Gus. They'll start off at Vermont up in Montpelier on Monday night at 6:30. That's tonight. You can catch that game on the NECBL network. And then Wednesday, they'll be back home to play Upper Valley. Talk to me a little bit about, the rematch up in Vermont and what you're looking forward to for that one.
Well, I think for both teams, they'll be good. They've already played each other once, so they're more familiar with them. That game will be Monday night in Vermont. So it'll be the first time the Navs have headed up there this season. But I think both these teams are more familiar with each other. Then they'll be off on Tuesday and then back in action on Wednesday when they'll play Upper Valley, followed by at Winnipesaukee. Then they'll be back home on Friday night against Keene. Then they'll be heading to Upper Valley on Saturday, June 12th. So a lot of baseball to be played. This will be the first full week of action of the season. So now the players are going to get themselves, into the travel and all the, baseball that comes with it. So a lot of baseball for sure coming up, and looking forward to seeing what this team can do this week.
Yeah, and if you're looking to, watch the game online, you can check out the CBL network. You can go to watch.necbl.com. Single game passes are $80. They have multiple different passes, like a week pass or a month pass. There's a season-long pass, which I purchased for $80, which will get you coverage through all games all season long. And if you can make it on Wednesday, Gus, you want to tell them about the tickets at Frazier Field?
Yeah, well, it'll be the second home game of the season for the Navigators. They'll be playing Upper Valley from Vermont, so it should be a good game between Upper Valley as well. But no, I think it's going to be good. I think now we're going to start to see, more guys get in. We're going to start to see maybe some lineups are formed, some consistent lineups being formed by all the coaches. So overall, it should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the team can do Wednesday night. I will not be in attendance as I will be away for a family obligation, but I'll be back in action Friday night. You can hear me on the NECBL network starting then.
Yeah, great. And I think without further ado, we'll pass it on to Jonathan Luders. Great interview with him. His nickname is Sunshine. Great personality, and it was great to have him on. What did you think of the interview, Gus?
Jonathan Luders is great. He's awesome, and he's one of those guys that the Navs love having on the team. I'm sure Coach Mack is excited to have him once again. But yeah, let's get into it. Without further ado, here's our interview with Jonathan Luders. We now say hello to our next guest here on the Navs Nation podcast, that being Jonathan Luders. Luders is currently playing his second season for the Navigators and is looking to continue to provide timely hits and fielding for the Navs. The Linfield, Massachusetts native will be returning to Seton Hall University for his junior season after batting over .320 for the Navigators in 2020. Additionally, he was a part of some great teams at Linfield High School and was a big part of their success in his junior and senior seasons. As for the summer, however, Luders is looking to help this team in any way he can as the Navs open up play for 2021. Jonathan, welcome to the show, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you guys for having me on. Really appreciate it.
We're happy to have you on. And obviously, we just finished up last night's game against North Adams. So we're recording this on Sunday morning. So we appreciate you for coming on. So far this season, the Navs have played in 2 games. You didn't suit up for game 1, but you suit up for game 2 last night, or depending when you're listening to this. That will be on Saturday night against North Adams. How do you feel it went overall, and just how did it feel to be back out on the diamond?
Oh, well, it was great to be back on the diamond. I know we, for Seton Hall, had a little bit of a tough loss getting out of the tournament earlier than we wanted to be. But it was great being back out in a Navigators uniform, playing for them. I've always loved going to the Navigators game when I was younger, and then suiting up for them was just fantastic. And it was great. We have an awesome team. We have, it's funny because like we have lots of local guys again too, which is awesome this year, and some guys from last year. So I'm just excited to be back on the field and competing.
You mentioned the quick turnaround. Seton Hall, you finished up in the Big East tournament about a week ago, and then you're in Lynn and back at Frazier Field for game 1. That went as planned, with a nice walk-off win, and then you're back on the field last night for a game, and just talk about a little bit about that quick turnaround for you guys, because all of you guys are coming in kind of late or right on time, and it's just kind of a quick turn. So talk to me a little bit about that adjustment.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to stay consistent. I wanted to stay in the rhythm of things in terms of hitting. I know it takes. If you haven't seen live pitching for a while, take a little bit of a break. It takes a little while to get back into it. So I wanted to stay consistent if I could. We finished up over the weekend, and then I got back home on Monday, and then we had practice Tuesday. So it was actually kind of nice. I can kind of just roll right back into it. But obviously you want to take care of your body and know when you need a physical rest and whatnot. So we'll make sure to take the off days into consideration for recovery and all that. But for the most part, in terms of the quick turnaround, I think we'll roll right back into it. We'll be consistent. We're gonna have, I think we'll be fine there. So all good.
So this past season at Seton Hall was your sophomore season at Seton Hall University. Personally for you, how did you feel it went, and kind of what was the mentality after in 2020? You didn't have a season really because of COVID.
Right.
How did it feel to be back out with those guys, and how did you feel overall when I know you touched on a little bit earlier, getting out a little earlier than you wanted to, but just to be back on the diamond, how to feel to be with Seton Hall?
Oh, no, it was awesome. It was awesome. Even though we got out a little earlier than we wanted to, it was still a great season. We had, I was so blessed and fortunate to have amazing seniors and grad students that came back from having that COVID year and having an extra year to come back. What a blessing that was. Those guys are fantastic, and I'm so grateful for them and all the stuff they taught me, and have kind of showed us the ropes and whatnot, the younger guys, how what the culture is at Seton Hall. And it was special. I mean, it was special regardless. And it was, after you get your season taken away, it's kind of like a punch in the gut. Oh man, you want it. Especially if you're a senior, it's oh my gosh, that's someone taken away from you. They never want to be taken away. So it was really a special season. We had great chemistry, and especially in 2021 for me, it was nice. I know in 2020 I wasn't playing as much. I was kind of feeling a spot role defensively. But in 2021, I was making my way into the lineup and making a home at third base, and it was nice. I mean, I just want to compete. I had really good upperclassmen that kind of showed me the ropes again, as I said, and really grateful for that.
Yeah, looking at your stats from last year at Seton Hall, this past season, you had an impressive 973 fielding percentage. So how'd you feel over there on the hot corner? And how do you feel, where you play in the infield here with the Navs going forward in the season?
Yeah, so we had a senior and a junior over at third base, and they're amazing and showing me the ropes and the different plays and how like footwork and how different stuff is done. And I'm very grateful for that because I actually hadn't played much third base before that. I was mostly up the middle, second base, shortstop my entire career, but they helped make the transition over to third base very seamless, and I was very grateful for that. But then again, like also like I mean, I just want to play, so you can put me whoever. It can be second base, shortstop, third base. You can throw me in the outfield if you'd like. So I mean, I just like my dad and I do a bunch of work with fast kind of ground balls. We go around the high school and do a bunch of work there. So I mean, maybe slightly different angles and all that, but for the most part, it's still like the same concept, same idea.
It's always interesting to see, where Coach Mack can put all you guys, because you come in playing like a couple different positions, or some of you have a set position, and then you got to move around with the guys that play their set position. So it's kind of interesting, kind of tricky. What is it like with you in the infield squad with the Navs, and what kind of communication do you guys need to have to be successful, especially when you come back for the first time, like a week this year?
It's actually nice. So Jake McElroy, I played with him last summer, is at third base, and I'm at second base. And that's how it was last summer. So we are have a little bit of chemistry there, which is nice. And then I don't know all the guys like super well yet, but then also Logan's to my left playing first, which is also great. Matthias, he's been awesome. Met him a week ago, and he's been great. Just having open communication with different things in terms of like realizing cuts and like who's got the bag and all that. It's nothing too crazy. Obviously, everyone in the infield has a high like IQ, baseball IQ, and you can kind of read that and go from there. So nothing too tough, I think, in communication. I think we all set.
Talk about a couple of years ago, back to your Linfield high school days. You touched on it in the intro. You're part of some pretty successful teams in your junior and senior seasons. Just talk about what that experience was like, and then obviously the transition from Linfield to Seton Hall.
Yeah, no, I was very blessed and fortunate to go to Linfield High School under Coach O'Brien, all the great coaches they have there. Yeah, just really lucky be able to be on varsity sophomore year, and I was actually playing in the outfield and a little bit of shortstop, and then junior season playing at shortstop. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, I have so many great memories there with so many great teammates, and who I'm still really close with today, and play. And actually, some of them are playing the NCBL this year, so we might face some of them. Might be in the South Division, but it was just really special. I mean, those are your boys. Those are the guys you grow up with. Even the guys a little older too. Like those are the guys that those memories you're just gonna cherish forever. And then in transition going to Seton Hall, I mean, Coach O'Brien made sure I was ready for anything, and I just really appreciate that. At the time, you don't really think you might not appreciate it. He was pretty tough on me, but I just really appreciate everything he did because it really did prepare me for Seton Hall. So really thankful for that.
So the nickname Sunshine, I don't know. Did that start in Linfield? I've heard it around the ball field like a lot this summer. We've used it on social media for you. Where did that come from? Was that a Linfield thing, a Seton Hall thing, a Navs thing?
Oh man! All right,
because your walk-up song, for those who haven't been able to go down to Fraser for opening night, is "Walking on Sunshine." So fill me in on that. I'm a little lost.
All right, so it goes like way back, like almost when I was 9-10 years old. And I'm not even sure like, who was like the original person to call me Sunshine. I think it was a teammate's my dad thought I looked like the quarterback from Remember the Titans, like with long hair. And it's like I'm more upbeat and positive personality. So I think Sunshine was fitting. And it's funny, it stuck for summer ball. Every year in summer ball through like I played for a team called the Academy growing up. And it was always Sunshine, it always stuck. But then when I went over to high school, it was always Luders. So then Sunshine didn't really stick in high school. And then when I got recruited by Seton Hall, I was by my summer team. And my coach knew I had that nickname. And it kind of was a little bit like going on in Seton Hall for a little bit, then not really. But then once I got back to the Navs, there was a few guys in particular that knew me as Sunshine from like different club ball and training and whatnot. And then once they knew, it kind of just caught fire and then went from there. But in terms of the walk-up song, I had shipping up to Boston originally, my first like couple of games, and then I don't think I got like any hits, so we had to get rid of that walk-up song. So Logan, Bravo, he's the man. He's so funny. before one of the games, we're stretching out in the field together, and he had someone put on like 5 different songs involving sunshine on like the speakers. I had to choose one of them, so I just chose that one. I'm walking on sunshine, and it's stuck, and I had a great summer, so it's back again.
Anything to get hits, huh? Anything to get hits.
Oh, exactly. You know what I mean.
You're gonna stick with it this year here in 2021. You're walking on sunshine. Is that what we're hearing?
So it's funny. I was texting Josh my walkout song, and I just sent him the same one as last year, and he's like, "You didn't have a choice. Like that would have been outrageous if you changed it." So yeah, but I'm totally happy with that. And I actually wanted it for my Seton Hall walkout song too. I put it down, but for whatever reason, they play a different song every time I walk to the plate. So I guess just a Navigator thing, maybe.
Well, let's talk about the 2021 season. So 2 games in where the Navs are 1-0-1. Navs are off today. They'll be back in action tomorrow at Vermont. You can catch that on the NECBL network. Just talk about that, this season. What are you looking forward to most, and what do you want to get out after, this 2021 season and heading back to Seton Hall?
I think it's as any guy wants to. They just want to learn and grow and develop as a player. I mean, it's so cool, like when you can get different guys from different colleges and different areas to come together to play, because you can kind of pick their brains and kind of understand like what their approach is on certain pitchers, like what their footwork is like at different positions. I mean, for me, especially at third base, not really playing as much there before. So just trying to learn, develop as much as I can, and obviously develop relationships like while you're at it. Like, I mean, there's such good guys in this team I'm already forming really good relationships with. So I think you just want to like kind of just be open with it, and like you kind of want to just learn as much as you can. You want to develop, and while you're at it, develop these awesome relationships.
Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us today on the Navs Nation podcast. It was great to get your insight, and you're returning for another year. So we're excited to see more baseball. Monday night, you can catch Luders down up in Montpelier, Vermont, as they'll take on the Mountaineers, and then they'll be back Wednesday night at Frazier Field. You can catch that game at 6:35 p.m. either in person. Tickets are $5 for adults, free for children 4 and under. And you can also catch that game on the NECBL network. So, Jonathan, thanks so much again for joining us and taking the time out of your morning, especially after a long road trip home, to join us on the Navs Nation podcast.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Jonathan, for that great interview. As always, he is a great personality to talk to, and the nickname Sunshine. We're looking forward to seeing that walk-up song return for year number 2 at Frazier Field. But, what were your impressions of Luders?
Great guy. Just great to see more local guys join us, here in Frazier Field and Lynn. Great to see, his success through his first 2 years at Seton Hall. And I'm looking forward to his first summer with me watching him play here with the Navs all summer long. And I love his walk-up song. I can't get enough of that. So.
Oh, yeah, his walk-up song is the best, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do this season. Well, that's going to wrap it up for episode 4 of the Navs Nation podcast. You can always catch our socials at NS Navigators on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We're excited to be back for another year here of Navigators baseball. And without further ado, that's going to wrap it up.
Great. Thanks, guys. See you next week.